Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome to our guests. Why do you come to Toastmasters? Why did you join? Chances are you're saying, I want to be a better speaker. Well, I want to tell you, if that's the only reason you're coming, you're missing out on the best half of Toastmasters. When Toastmasters recently did their rebranding in the last year or so, they came up with a new tagline, and it's where leaders are made. And I'll tell you, the more leadership roles I took on, the better speaker and communicator I became. The better evaluator I became, the more I got out of this organization. Now most people say, oh, I'm too new to be an officer. I don't know anything about the organization. Or I don't have time to do it. Or I'm afraid I'm going to fail. Right? Those are all fears that we always have whenever we're trying to take on something new. Well, the club, we don't get up here and worry about failing every time we get up to speak. Serving as a club officer, the rest of us aren't going to let you fail. So this is a perfect opportunity, if you haven't taken on leadership roles, to take on some of the club officer roles. We have 7 officers that we elect every 6 months. We have a sergeant at arms, starting at the lowest level of our officer rankings. Sergeant at arms, we have a treasurer, we have a secretary, we have a vice president of public relations, a vice president of membership, a vice president of education, and a president. Now when I joined, I didn't know what any of these things were, and my first position that I got was vice president of public relations. Well, I learned so much about our club, because how else can I publicize the club if I didn't know anything about it? Toastmasters, we have great manuals for our speeches. We have just as great of manuals for leadership. We have officer manuals that tell us step by step what to do. They give us ideas for how to fulfill these roles. We have training. We have Toastmasters Leadership Institutes and local trainings that we can go to find out about how do we fill this role as an officer. And as you're learning about what to do, you realize, wow, there are a whole bunch of other clubs out there that I can visit, I can get to know, I can bounce ideas off of, I can network with. And then after I served as president through several different officer positions, became president, then I became area governor. I loved area governor. This is the one position out of everything I've done in Toastmasters that I would volunteer wholeheartedly to do again. Not only do you get to visit different clubs, you find out about what's going on at the district level, find out what this international organization is that we belong to. Toastmasters is in over 100 countries throughout the world. And once you realize that this little cocoon of a club that we have can lead to so much more, your membership is going to become even more valuable to you. As I worked my way up, I took on leadership roles within the district as Lieutenant Governor of Marketing. So I learned about how to start a club, how to help revive a club. Working with Toastmasters around the district, I made friends all through Florida and Bahamas. So any city I could go to, if I was on my own, I could call somebody up and find someone that I had met through Toastmasters. Then as Lieutenant Governor of Education and Training, I worked on putting together conferences. Let me tell you, I got married right after I was a Lieutenant Governor of Education and Training, and planning a wedding was nothing compared to what I learned with planning 2 speech contests, workshops, banquets, all these other things that went on. And now if I'm on an organization where they need something planned, it's no big deal. I can do it. I've taken these things I've learned and applied them to other organizations, either within my own business or other organizations that I'm involved in. And then, serving as district governor for Florida and Bahamas, unless you have a lot of time and a flexible job, I wouldn't really recommend that, because at times it is like a full-time job in addition to your full-time job. But I became friends with the person who is district governor for Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and he's now our international president for Toastmasters, John Lau. And it was great having someone who was in a similar sized district as ours I could bounce ideas off of. Because we, at the time, were the second largest district in the world with about 300 clubs. And I think back when I first joined and I hesitated about being a club officer. And then I realized, when I look back, I became a better evaluator by listening to different speech contests throughout the years, learning about the organization, seeing different presentation styles, going to different workshops. And I wouldn't give up any of the opportunities that I've had in Toastmasters. And I hope that the next time it comes time to be an officer, each one of you will consider that opportunity. And if you've already served as an officer, look at the area governor role, because I guarantee you, you will make a lot of friends, and it will be the most fun that you've ever had in a volunteer role. Mr. Toastmaster.